Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, so this video is taking a question from the community page, and one of the highest vote getters was, will any of our corrupt Supreme Court justices ever be removed or leave court? I can't take much more of them. You and me both, and 111 other people as of 5:22 on May 25th. 5:22 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so the Supreme Court, 9 justices on the Supreme Court. The most problematic justices right now would appear to be Clarence Thomas and Justice Samuel Alito. Thomas, because of his involvement with Harlan Crow and all these gifts that he has not declared, and failing to recuse himself on cases that his wife is clearly involved with. Alito also has some ethical breaches with gifts and trips that he's taken. Not to the tune of Thomas, at least. But also with his wife flying an American flag upside down out of their house, which is a bad look when you're a Supreme Court justice, right after the insurrection. And then, flying another MAGA flag, the pine tree flag, from his vacation home. He's just not making good choices and seems to be indicating that the election was stolen. And then blaming his wife. Now, apparently his wife even admits there was a New York Times reporter that was there during the whole upside down flag thing. And the wife said that she hung the flag upside down. Alito, that was a bad move on your part. We got the Stop the Steal card that just popped up there. Bad thing on his part. You're a Supreme Court justice. You can't let your wife do that. And by that, I mean, it's like, yeah, you have the freedom to express yourself, but the problem is you're a Supreme Court justice. You actually sit on these cases, and it's the appearance of a bias. And he doesn't recuse himself from cases where there's an appearance of a bias. That's his problem. Not to mention, let's just overturn Roe v. Wade, which is decided case law, amongst other things. So I'm going to focus on these two guys because they seem to be the most conservative, the most corrupt out of the lot. That's not to say Kavanaugh and Gorsuch and Roberts and Barrett don't deserve extra scrutiny, but you don't want an hour and a half long video, do you? If we get an hour and a half long video, I want it to be Susan Lynn channeling and just saying all the wonderful things that's going to happen to all 6 of those people. Because it might be 60% Spirit, 40% Susan, but that 40% is sassy. All right. I don't know my percentages. Okay. Entertainment purposes only. Let's start with everybody's favorite, Justice Thomas. What is going on with him, and will he be leaving soon? Okay, entertainment purposes only. Well, that's not a good start for you. Not only is the signifier card a major arcana, it's also the judgment card. He's going to be judged on his actions. Now, as a Supreme Court justice, you should be judging other people. But he's failing in exercising good judgment. Reporters have exposed this. This is why a free press is such a key part of our government. If Miss Barrett could actually remember what the First Amendment was and all the sections of it, she would do well for herself. Cross with the Knight of Wands, and underneath is the Seven of Wands. There's judgment coming for Clarence Thomas. It's a slow progression here. It's built step by step by step, but the case is gaining momentum. He's trying to fight off charges, all these allegations, but there are so many allegations coming at him. He's been able to fight them off now, but here's the thing. He's old and he's tired, and all this fighting is exhausting to him. He's hanging on again because he wants Trump to be elected in November, or at least a Republican to be elected in November, so he can step down and move on with his life. Right now, he has to fight for his life and to maintain his position. It's exhausting to him. And the fight's kind of leaving him. In the past, you got the Lover's card. Thomas got elected despite the Anita Hill thing. There's just a bad relationship with women with him. The whole Anita Hill thing should have been disqualifying. He got put on anyways. And then he was complaining he wasn't making enough money and he was going to step down. And then all of a sudden, Harlan Crow steps in. Somebody who collects Nazi paraphernalia. Now, I'm just going to pause on that for a second. I understand World War II paraphernalia. I get it. I like reading on World War II stuff. Again, I read the Rick Atkinson trilogy. I've watched Band of Brothers and The Pacific and stuff like that. Really fascinated with the book. Local library went through a number of books on the North Africa campaign. Fairly well versed on it. That doesn't make me want to get a Nazi flag, much less display it in my house. You know what I mean? I would be, well, there should be no problem with, owning a copy of Mein Kampf to understand it. I'm not that curious. And I would be concerned if somebody found it in my house, what they might try to associate me with that. A Luger pistol? Oh yeah, that'd be really cool. Picture of German fighter jets or German tanks? Sure, they made great fighter aircraft. They did have jets at the end, but great fighter aircraft, great tanks. Yeah, that stuff is kind of interesting, but nothing with an SS on it, nothing with a swastika on it. That's just not my jam. And the whole point, Nazi Germany and the Confederacy were kind of a similar vein of an elite class that's going to rule, and then there's subservient classes underneath them. Both of them thought poorly of minorities like black people. So Harlan Crow, who is not only an elite himself, he's also somebody who's overly fascinated with Nazis, is hanging around and supporting a black Supreme Court justice. It doesn't track. It doesn't mean it can't happen. It just doesn't track well. And I would be curious to see what happens when Clarence Thomas is no longer a Supreme Court justice. If Harlan Crow keeps sending him Christmas cards and inviting him out to expensive engagements and such. Well, these major arcana here. Current situation with Clarence Thomas is the Magician. This is manifestation or illusion. He has managed to help this Supreme Court overturn laws that were case precedents. The whole abortion thing coming out over here, and him supporting that even though it was decided case law. He would represent himself as a contextualist, an originalist, or whatever BS they come up with to say that if it's not in the Constitution, it doesn't exist type of thing. But when it is in the Constitution, they conveniently forget it. It's an illusion. He's a faker, basically. He's not real with his things. And this is also him not declaring all these goods that he has here. It's almost like he's declaring he's above the law. And that's going to be one of the things that is his undoing, is that there are investigations on this. Overarching energy is the Four of Wands. That's the wedding card. That's bringing things in, bringing people in. But on the low energy, it's kicking people out. And he's waiting in November to see. He wants to leave. Basically, he's going to leave one way or another. he wants to leave because Donald Trump is elected or a Republican's elected, and then he can retire, and then somebody even more conservative than him can be put in there and confirmed and carry on their tradition. The lesson to be learned is the Ace of Cups. Clarence Thomas doesn't have the passion for the job anymore. I don't know if he's ever had the passion. Maybe he had the passion at the beginning, but he's more motivated by money than by ideology. Another 4 years as with Biden as president, he just can't do it. He can't do it. His heart's not in it. He's tired. He wants to go play with his wife. Go drive around the country in their Winnebago. I'm sorry, their motor coach. Out comes the Two of Cups. If Trump gets in, I don't think he will, but if Trump gets in, he's hanging around. If Trump doesn't get in, he's going to step down. He won't last. I don't think he's going to get removed. I think he's going to make an agreement with people to step down. And again, it could be a medical issue, not necessarily his, but it might be represented as a medical issue. And, the cup is handed over from a Republican to a Democrat because I would expect that the Democrats will have control of the House, control of the Senate, and control of the White House. So the thing with Clarence Thomas is that he's lost the passion for the job. I don't know if he ever had it, to be honest. If he did, I don't think it was long-lived, because then he was complaining about the money and the lack of money. The whole Harlan Crow thing. Now, I will say when he steps down, he's going to find out who his friends are. He will find out who his friends are. Alito. I'm laughing. It's like we should have a special Alito flag or something like that, an upside down pine tree or something that we can hang out. Give it to all his neighbors to hang out on their front lawns here. Okay, Mr. Alito, you weren't exactly fighting for women's rights there, were you? You're overturning case law. You're not declaring things. What's the energy around Alito? Clarence Thomas, he wants to stay only so long as a Republican's put in there. It's going to be too disheartening for him to stick around much longer after that. But he has to... He might need to protect his wife. Let's just say Ginny's involvements with January 6th, or again, entertainment purposes only, Ginny's involvements might be what keeps him on the Supreme Court. And if you just say, you know what, we're going to leave your wife alone if you step down, that might be enough to get him out of there. He doesn't want to do the job. He'll stay on to protect his wife, but he doesn't want to do it. So give him a reason to leave. What's Ginny Thomas in the grand scheme of things is the way to look at it. Honestly, what is Ginny Thomas in the grand scheme of things? Now, Martha Alito, I care about her as much as I care about Ginny Thomas. Now, for Mr. Alito, however, we have the walking away card. I don't think there's a leaving here, an emotional leaving going on. He might be asked to leave. Thomas, they might give an excuse. This guy, they may force out. Let's see. And I've mentioned in the past that it's kind of a race between Alito and Thomas. Thomas wants to leave. Alito doesn't. To sum it up. But it's funny. The first person to leave Makes it a lot more difficult on the second person left in there. You have a 6-3 conservative majority. If Clarence Thomas leaves, the conservatives still have a 5-4 majority. But if let's say Alito leaves first, now it's 5-4 conservatives, and Thomas is there and he doesn't want to be there. Because if he leaves, now it's a 5-4 liberal majority. So, it's like musical chairs. You gotta, you don't want to be the one sitting down when the music stops, or you want to sit on the chair that gets you out of there. But there's an emotional leaving here. There's a leaving card. Crossed with the King of Wands. There might be an investigation into him. Okay, so the King of Wands does its decisions that need to be made. He doesn't want to, I know he doesn't want to leave. That's what's been reported. He doesn't want to leave. He likes making the decision, sitting on the court, and that's his legacy. That's why he doesn't want to leave. Okay? He plans on sticking around. However, he may be forced to leave because of a Department of Justice investigation around money that he has taken over the years. Like they would do with Thomas, like a full audit of this. There might be an investigation going on with Mr. Alito. This is going to be one of those layered readings, I can tell. Why he doesn't want to leave, and why he is leaving. In the past, you've got the 6 of Coins. Alito likes... I'm just going to throw all the cards real quick, and then I'm just going to do that layered reading here. Oh, that's not so good, is it? Okay. Alito's perspective, he has no intention of leaving. He likes making decisions. He likes being on the Supreme Court. He can put his values in place. This is his legacy. In the past, yeah, he may have taken some money, but it's only a little bit of money. Who cares? We all do it. Besides, I'm on a 6-3 majority in the Supreme Court. I'm not going to be held accountable. Most powerful court in the land. And with what he has is what he currently is dealing with is his lack of integrity. He looks at all the good things he has, and he doesn't think the bad things apply to him. And again, he wants to force his values on people. That's his right as a Supreme Court justice. The overarching energy is the Knight of Pentacles. He's like a Supreme Court justice for hire. Let me back this up so you can see a little better. Thomas is kind of that same way, but I think he's been bought and paid for, and he does what he's told. He's got money that's been given to him, but he also likes the job. And the money he takes aligns with his values. The lesson to be learned is the Tower card, though. He's breaking down the fundamentals of American society, though, with his rulings. Roe v. Wade being a big one on that one. That was a foolish thing to do. Yeah, you advanced your values on women's health care, but it had an incredible backlash. And women are watching. And women are going to take action. They've got their little cat familiar. And, this spurs... you got the King of Wands. He likes making decisions, but now women are looking into him. And it's not just women. It's that divine feminine energy that's looking into it. That's kind of... And not only that, he wants to control how women react on things. What power women have. That's one of the things that he likes. He will continue to diminish women's power to support white men. Okay? Now, the reason why he might be leaving, and this is the leaving card, is I think there's an investigation into him by the Department of Justice. Why? And it's about money that he's been taking. From tax audits or something like that. There's a big money component in here. In the past, it looks like he's been taking money, things that he didn't declare, things of value that he didn't declare, failure to recuse cases. Now, that's not a crime. Him failing to recuse himself from a case is not a crime because there's no ethical issues here. Because they don't have a code of ethics. Go figure. But what we've got is things he's done in the past that could constitute as bribery. decisions that he's made that help certain people where he had a financial interest. I really wonder if they nail him on his taxes, because there could be some, I'm chopping off my head here, there could be some like kickbacks or stuff like that, things that aren't declared on his taxes that comes back and bites him. I have so many coin cards here. His lack of integrity is the problem. You know, thinking that he can get away with it, but there are money issues that have followed him. It could be that people have testified that they've given him bribes or something along those lines. And it's this delusion, this money trail that they're following that's going to lead to his removal from office. And it's going to be a rapid one. It's hard to impeach a Supreme Court justice. Again, this could be more of a legal case that's made out there. Queen of Wands. Women taking action. It could be that he's replaced by a woman. It could be the female Supreme Court justices that are outing him. There's a money thing. It's going to lead to an action. I don't think it's his wife, but I mean, you've got the whole thing with the flag. Well, his wife and the flagpole too. You know what I mean? There's ethical issues that are going on with him, along with criminal issues. I don't know how soon that these guys go out of here. I mean, one last thing with Alito. If we look at this as health, you know, his health has been okay, but his health might be changing. And his health might there might be, you know, a cancer or something along those lines, which really knocks him out. And that changing health could be what knocks him out of his thing where he has to retire due to health reasons. You know, he has to go home and be nursed by his wife. For Thomas, it might be his wife's health. For him, it's either an investigation or his own health that's a problem. Both of these guys may go down for health issues. Now, obviously, they have to step down at some point. They're both in their 70s. I don't know if I would describe either one of them as particularly healthy, so it wouldn't be a real shock if that were the case. I'm not getting anything that's going to happen soon. Thomas, I think, is going to happen soon. I think Thomas could certainly happen within the next year. Alito might be a little bit longer than that. But again, that just depends on, is there an investigation onto him? Does he have a health issue that crops up? You know, that tower card could be like a heart attack. Literally could be like a heart attack thing that just nails him and then wipes him out to the point where he cannot do the job. Just can't. He needs to go home and convalesce, which is that 10 of coins underneath there, where, you know, he's not capable of doing the job. Not wishing that on him, but when it's time to go, if you're not heeding Spirit's call, Spirit will make sure that you leave. So we'll leave it. Speaking of leaving, let's leave it right here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Thank you very much for your likes, shares, comments, everything you do to feed the YouTube algorithm, so this video makes it out to a wider audience. To folks discovering this channel recently or for the first time, welcome. Glad you found us. Hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.